If you've ever left a networking event feeling drained, inauthentic, and like you somehow failed at professional relationship building, this video is for you because here's what no one tells you. The problem isn't you. The problem is that traditional networking was designed for extroverts. Hi, I'm Sherry Hilly, and after 20 years in HR and organization development, I've watched countless brilliant introverted professionals struggle with networking advice that feels fundamentally wrong for how they operate. Today, I want to share what I've learned about why traditional networking fails introverts, and more importantly, what actually works when you're someone who builds deep rather than wide. Let me paint a picture that might feel familiar. You're at a company mixer or industry event. The advice you've been given echoes in your head. Work the room, meet as many people as possible, have your elevator pitch ready, follow up within 24 hours. So you show up with business cards in hand, trying to follow the playbook, but something feels off. The conversations feel surface level. You find yourself saying things that don't quite sound like you. By the end of the night, you're exhausted and you've collected a stack of business cards from people you can barely remember. Sound familiar? Here's why this happens. Traditional network advice assumes everyone processes relationships the same way. It's built on the extroverted model of wide networks, quick connections, and high energy interactions. But if you're an introvert, your brain is literally wired differently. You build trust through depth, not breadth. You need time to process before responding authentically. You create your best connections in smaller, more intimate settings. When you try to force yourself into these extrovert networking models, you're not only uncomfortable, you're working against your natural strengths. But here's what I want you to understand. Introverts don't have a networking problem. They have a networking definition problem. Because when I look at the most influential introverted leaders I've worked with over 2 decades, they all share something powerful in common. They don't network. They build systems of authentic relationships. Let me tell you about Sarah. Sarah is a senior business analyst who came to me feeling stuck. Despite being one of the most capable people in her organization, she felt invisible. She tried the networking events, the lunch and learns, the industry mixers, but nothing felt right to her, and nothing seemed to advance her career. Here's what we discovered. Sarah was not failing at networking. She was incredibly skilled at something much more valuable, which was creating meaningful professional relationships based on shared expertise and mutual respect. Think about it. As an introvert, you naturally listen more than you speak, which makes people feel heard. Ask thoughtful questions that show genuine interest. Follow through on commitments because you think before you speak. Build trust through consistency rather than charisma. Connect ideas across different conversations and contexts. These are not networking weaknesses, they're relationship building superpowers. So, what does authentic networking look like for an introvert? I call it the systems approach to connection, and it has three core principles. Principle number one, quality over quantity. Instead of trying to meet everyone, focus on identifying the 5 to 10 people who are most aligned with your professional goals and values. This may be someone whose work you are genuinely admiring, a colleague who shares your systems thinking approach, or somebody working on problems you find fascinating. The goal isn't to use these people for your career advancement, it's to build genuine professional relationships based on the shared interests and mutual respect. Principle number two, lead with contribution, not extraction. Here's where introverts have a massive advantage. Instead of walking into a conversation thinking, what can this person do for me? Start with, how can I add value here? Maybe you share an article that relates to a project that they mentioned. Maybe you introduce them to someone else who shares their interest. Maybe you offer to review a proposal because it's exactly in your area of expertise. When you lead with contribution, networking stops feeling transactional and starts feeling like collaboration. And principle number three, use your preferred communication channels. Who says networking has to happen at loud cocktail parties? Some of my most meaningful professional relationships have been built through LinkedIn comments or posts that genuinely interest me. follow up emails after meetings where I share additional resources, or one on one coffee conversations where we can deep dive into a shared challenge. The key is choosing connection strategies that energize rather than drain you. Okay, so let's talk about practical implementation here. Like, what does this look like in real life? Let me give you 3 specific strategies you can implement this week. Let's start with number 1, the expertise exchange. Identify one person in your organization or industry whose work you genuinely respect. Reach out with a specific, thoughtful question about their area of expertise, not for networking's sake, but because you're genuinely curious. Here's a template that you might use. Hi, my name is. I've been following your work on a specific project or topic. I'm currently working on, you name your related challenge, and would love your specific perspective on, enter your questions here. Would you be open to a brief conversation about this? This approach works because you're leading with genuine interest and offering them the opportunity to share their expertise, which most people love to do. Strategy number 2, the internal amplifier. Look for opportunities to amplify others' good work within your organization. When a colleague has a great idea in a meeting, follow up with an email to relevant stakeholders highlighting their contribution. When someone solves a problem creatively, mention it to your manager. This builds goodwill and positions you as someone who recognizes and values quality work. Exactly the kind of person others want to collaborate with. And strategy number 3, the deep dive discussion. Instead of trying to work the room at company events, aim for one meaningful conversation. Find someone working on a problem that genuinely interests you and go deep. Ask follow up questions. Share your own relevant experience. Exchange specific resources. One authentic conversation that leads to ongoing collaboration is worth more than 10 superficial exchanges that go nowhere. Here's what I want you to remember. The most successful professionals are not those who know the most people. They're those who build the most meaningful relationships. As an introvert, you're naturally equipped to do exactly this. You don't need to change your personality to advance your career. You need to recognize your relationship building strengths and use them strategically. The power of connection for introverts isn't about becoming more extroverted. It's about honoring how you naturally build trust and influence and creating systems that amplify these strengths. Your authentic professional relationships aren't just more sustainable than surface level networking, they're more powerful. What's one connection strategy from today's video that resonates with you? Let me know in the comments below. And if this was helpful, subscribe for more content on authentic leadership and career development for thoughtful professionals.